We go down in history. Microwave, huh? Why would you name yourself Microwave? Microwaves Workshop. Oh, they're really obsessed with microwave. What they got in that bio? Bio. Living in Louisiana, I have a tendency of saying bio, bio den, but it's bio. That's the Southern talk, man. I can't help it. I live in the bayou, man. I really do. I live out here in the bayou. Well, yeah, I mean, I live in Louisiana, but people don't understand, man. If you're not out looking for snakes and stuff, you're not gonna see no snakes. It's not like that. I mean, yeah, sometimes they may be up and I have snakes in my yard and stuff, but I don't. I haven't seen a snake in a while. I haven't. Sometimes they go in my yard because I have a sewer, but other than that, unless you're looking for a snake, well, unless you're in the wood, the habitat of snakes, right? Unless you live in the woods or living out in the boonies or you're out hunting or in the woods or near water, you know. They don't want to twerk with me? Here, you know what? Uh, uh, uh. Why would you farm? Why would you trade? If you take him away from the hook. You take him away from the hook, I get the save, and we're fine and dandy, right? That's how you do it. Why am I want my mic to be close like this? My bad, my hand slipped. My hand slipped, that's my fault. That was my fault. Should've took this window. took a hit for her. That was my fault. That was completely my fault. My thumb slipped off the freaking button. Well, this game's over. Oh my god, I thought, some reason I thought there was 2 people dead. Some reason I thought I was the last one alive. Well, I thought she was the last one. I didn't know we had no teammate. Stop. Why did people recover? Don't crawl. I'm talking about MMR and I got 8,000 points. It's not that though. It's about looping. It's about staying alive. These motherfuckers can't loop for shit. Doesn't matter how many points you have. I didn't even get chased once. I have 8 points, minus 1. I did 17 points in gens. It's that my fault, gang. I just don't understand, dude, why people quit. Like, what do you get out of quitting, man? Because you got the fucking destroyed? Like, that's sad. I just let him down me, man. There's not much I'm gonna do in that situation. I mean, he had barbecue. He 100% had barbecue. Anyways, I was probably dead anyways. There's just not much I can do when my teammates are just going down within the first 2 seconds. One guy quit because he sucks. Look, if you quit every time you just get shit on, you're never gonna get better. Okay? That's just a fact of it. Own up to your mistakes. Maybe sometimes look at yourself as a problem and not the killer. Okay? I see a lot of people like bashing killers. Oh, you slugging motherfucker. And I hate slugging too. But there's 2 different types of slugging for me. Okay? There's a slug where everyone's spread out and the killer's going out his way to find you. That's the ones I don't like. But then there's the one that you do it to yourself when you're all 4, bring an offering, or you bring an offering where you're all 4 spawn together, and then you guys can't loop for shit, and then you guys are all right here next to each other. What do you expect the killer to do at that point? We're all right 10 feet from each other. And if you at that point you just did it to yourself, and if you just can't stay alive long enough to keep it going, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. That's the kind of slugging I don't. That's just like if you know, it's the survivor's fault. Plain and simple. I just understand. I just don't understand people quit. I've been playing this game 9 years, and I'm a high skill player, but I never would have got where I was at as a player if I quit. I ain't never DC'd in this game ever, ever. Now Call of Duty, yeah, I have. Not gonna lie, but this game, no. Because this game is repetitive, right? Unlike Call of Duty, this game is it's more repetitive than anything. So you do this, you get in, you do a gen, you do loop killers, right? And then the only thing that changes really is, well, the killer, but also how skilled the player is. And it's your job to be decent enough to just try to stay alive as long as you can, right? Like I tell people, you can't control a killer from tunneling, but you can control how fast he gets you down by being a decent looper, having good game sense. You know? You better be good if you run no mitter. Better be good. I don't want to see you go down with no 5 seconds. Where's he at? Downstairs? No way I hit. Oh my god, this is fucking. Oh my god, these hitboxes are fucking terrible. This ping's not even that bad. Like, what the fuck? Two hits! Two hits that should not have fucking connected. Oh shit. If it wasn't for these hitboxes being so bad, I would never go down, dude. I just wouldn't. I get the most unfortunate bullshit hits in the existence of this game. It's not even a comparison. Like, it took 2 bullshit hits to get me down. It's crazy. Oh, I love this game, bro. Alright, come on. I want you, buddy. I noticed every killer that had the dashing ability has some jacked up hitboxes. Bad. Demogorgon, Chucky. Every time they're dashing, it's terrible. What do I do here? Oh no. Look where he's. Okay. Okay. It gets even better. Did you see where he was at when he hit me? Does console get the ultimate aim assist or what? Am I missing something? Holy fuck, dude. He was like 5 feet away from me. Wasn't even looking at me when he swung. It's impressive. Alright, we're locking in against him now. I'm pissed now. Come help me. I'm aggravated now. I'm about to run his ass good. Never mind. Just threw that shit. I mean, he's not terrible. I'm just unfortunate hits, man. Unfortunate hits. Just unfortunate hitboxes, man. Nothing you could. I've been playing this game for 9 years. That's never gonna change. Unfortunately. I think it's by design because I would never. A lot of good players would never go down. It wasn't bad. Oh my god. You didn't know it? I didn't realize it. I don't understand why people say... Why do people say GG and then just leave? Is she live though? Miss... She got 20 people watching. I'll give him a follow.
Oh, we got 2 Sables. Remember how we saved each other back to back a few times now? I do remember. Thank you for the follow, Final Whisper. Appreciate you. The slot machine is on progress now, and it's yours.
I add her. She might add me back. She might. Maybe she will. Maybe she won't. She's kind of hot though. What's up with these levels are crazy, bro. Play a game of killer. Why not? Well, let's play a couple more games of Survivor. Sorry, hold on, guys. I'm browsing through my text messages real quick. Everyone's blowing up my phone tonight. So, as people know, I am a developer. Okay, I'm a developer. I make websites. I make video game stuff. Went to school for it. A whole 7 years for it because I had to go for web development first. So because they wouldn't let me take programming. Well, they wouldn't let me take video game stuff with my website stuff. So I had to go for front end development for. Well, I did fast track, so I guess it was 3.5 years, and then I had to go back for video games development. So that's like doing what I'm doing here. You know, I got an error right now because I'm still writing code, and I haven't finished writing the functions for it. But this is the mod I have for GTA 5 story mode, right? And then this is a menu that I have within that too for people to create their own. locations, which is pretty nice, via XML. And then I have another one that I started working on 3 months ago. I want to make it just for the application base because I want people to be able to make their own um, mods and stuff without any coding experience. So this is my first time showcasing it, so I'm gonna go ahead and showcase it. It does not do nothing. All I did so far was write some code, build the UI, and then write some code that does some simple things, but it doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't actually print out a DLL of code yet for them to put in there. It doesn't actually. It props the code, but it doesn't actually build it into a file yet. I've actually been working on that. But let me just go ahead and call TagSim casual TagSim callout creator. And we got an error right here. That's because I haven't added in the function for that yet. But we can still play it from the previous before we put that line of code in. Cause right now, as you see, I'm working on the build the function that builds the DLL. Right. Build DLL button. So this will be to build their mod when they get done. I'll show you what it looks like. So here we go. First time showcasing it. Boom. This is what I came up with. This is not bad. I mean, so they can start the call out. They can do a dialogue, and they can change it to whatever they want. And when they go to generate code, it automatically generates the code right here. It sleeps 5 seconds. They won't know what this means, but the way the brain works is when they see this as a render field, when they hit generate code or build DLL, they see it like maybe it says complete. Your file has been, it just satisfies the brain, right? So you when you see a successful message, that tells you, oh my god, okay, we built it, we're good, right? But if we don't have no render set, we just build it and it says build, but you don't actually see any of the render happen. It's just does something different to your brain, right? That's why I added this in. They don't have to know what any of this means. All they have to know is that it's building, it's basically AI, I guess, but not really. It's not AI because I'm building it to be as accurate as I can be, as it can possibly be. When I program, I don't know why. Every time I create variables, like these are variables. We have an L handle which handles the pursuit, and then we have a Boolean which handles a true or false. Every time, ever since I was in school, when I was programming in school and building stuff in school, with in college and stuff, I always start my variables with an underscore. I have no idea why. It's always been a thing. 14 years now. 14. Well, I say 14 years. Yeah, I guess. Well, yeah, I guess in JavaScript. I started doing that in C#, so I guess more like 6 years. So they don't have to know what this means. They can just drag, and the code is built in to the blocks, right? So if I say start pursuit, generate code, let's just say start pursuit, generate code. We should be able to go down here. Okay, if suspect is not equal to no and suspect exists, suspect is fleeing. Pursuit. So pursuit underscore pursuit. So we're calling on the underscore right here, our L handle. So that's our variable. And then we're saying we're calling on our variable, and then we're saying, hey, let's create a pursuit. Let's add paired to pursuit the suspect to our pursuit variable, and then let's also set pursuit is active for pursuit, which is our LNAV variable, and make that true. And let's put that in a while loop. Function is pursuit still running. Pursuit gamefiber.yield. If we don't do gamefiber.yield, the game's crashing because it needs to know we can't run too much code at the same time. We have to give sections of code breathing room, right? We don't want everything running every second. That would be bad. So since this is a while loop, if we don't do this after a while loop, the while loop is just going to continuously like it's going to still run. It's just going to run too fast. And then if this is not true, and we don't check that, then it's crashing, right? So we have to check that because we have to give it the while loop somewhere to go, if that makes sense. But like I said, all the code is built into the blocks. I'm going to be adding spawn vehicle. I mean, code generated successfully. Let's just clear it. So I don't think this ain't gonna work. Spawn vehicle. I haven't added that into to it. I just made the label. It doesn't do nothing yet. As you can see, it hasn't added nothing in, but the ped does. I did add the ped in. So you see right here, that shouldn't. I don't know why. I gotta fix that. That's not where the spawn ped should not be under the vehicle section. That's something we gotta fix. Should be under here or here. But either way, you see it says hillbilly. Now this, I need to make sure they can't change that name because this name is what the model is gonna be. Is what it needs to be. So if they change this to this, that's no such thing. It's not gonna work. So I need to make sure that that's disabled where it shows them, but they reads it only. They can't edit it. But however, you can go down here and see that we got a suspect equals new ped, and then we have our suspect name here, and then we take the suspect spawn positions 0 meters, and then if suspect is equal to null and suspect does not exist, let's go ahead and pop a message notification to fail to spawn suspect. I'm gonna fix that right in there. That's kind of weird. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm working on. We got a long way to go on that. A long way to freaking go on that. But it's nice. I mean, it's pretty rich. It's pretty nice. I just wanted to work on something different. Um. I just want to work on something different, Yeah, that's just vibe. But like I said, we might be able to just mess around and make something here. I don't know. I don't have a design in mind. Maybe I want something to be. Maybe we could make like a navigation bar that's like a glossy look. Usually I just go to Google and I look up things like glassy nav bar, and I just look up things and try to mimic it. Right? That's how you get better. Take templates and you just try to write it from scratch. We don't do templates right here. We make the fucking templates, right? We don't use no AI and we don't use no websites for templates. Now I do copy the templates. Now how did I get so better? How do I get so good at coding? Well, school helps. I went to school, but there's a website that helps me that challenges me. It's called CSS. It's called CSS CSS Battles, which is how I style everything. As you can see, if I go into if I go into here and I take off my CSS, this is how everything looks without my CSS, right? So that gives you your colors and your padding, your borders, right? So this website will pop something on the screen and say, "Hey, make this with JavaScript or CSS. Make a box or whatever," and you can play against other people. Like this one is padding, and it'll try to get you. You have to get it as close as you can, exactly how they have it here. It's pretty fun. It's pretty interesting, and it can be challenging. So like, um, okay, so all right, so This is kind of what they want. This is kind of they give you the colors, right? And what they're wanting you to create this. We're not gonna do that because we're gonna go create our own stuff. But this is how they challenge you, right? They give you random stuff to do. Um, and they give us, they tell us the colors that they're using. So that's actually not super hard to make, but depending on how accurate it is, uh, you get a higher score. So it's pretty sick. So we'll go in here. We'll create a template, startup template. We'll call it navbar. We'll link our CSS. And we'll refresh that. And we change navbar. And we'll go double check our color. Boom. Alright, so let's just name this actually to glass. Because I want to go for a glassy. So I have colors in mind. I have some colors in mind actually that will give us a glassy. But I think what we're going to do to really sell on the effect is we're going to use a blur. Because we're going to put a blur as a transparent probably. So we could probably use a blur on the navigation itself. Now don't worry. We're gonna be up late tonight. It's Friday. We're gonna get back to playing DBD. I just like to vibe sometimes, just kind of talk. Yeah. Oh, I'm on YouTube as well. John, what's up, John? How long? I've been programming for 14 years. I used to make websites for businesses and get paid for it, but now I just do things because I love to create things and I love to make things for people like mods and stuff for video games. Not hacking online, but I like games that support mods. Yes, I'm involved in making mods and stuff for developers for their games for that to have dedicated servers for modding. And yeah, I get early access and stuff to some games because of the contributions or whatever, if that's even a word, contributions, what's the word now? Yeah, but websites been doing longer though. So, now you're gonna see me looking down at my keyboard a lot because I'm gonna be using a lot of periods and stuff, and I have muscle memory and stuff, but it's like if I don't look down, I'm gonna hit the wrong key all the time. It's always how it goes. All right. Just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do here. All right, so I guess we could do. Where do we want to start? Let's start with a comment, maybe, and let's just say nav bar. All right, and then let's say header. So we have a header tag now, and we also have an HTML tag. All right, and then we'll say. So this is gonna be our parent of the whole navigation. So think of this as our parent, right? This is gonna give us the background that looks like this. We're gonna have like a little border background here, and that's gonna be our header. But this is gonna be the parent of our links. So this is gonna be how we design our background we want and everything that's position everything. It's just gonna be where everything. It's the parent, right? It's gonna control everything as far as that goes. And then we'll say this is nav bar. So we can call it that in CSS. Nope. Let's go ahead and name this header, which we could technically just call on this, but Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna give a nav, and we'll call this nav bar. And then here, what we'll do is we'll get a logo. We don't have to get a logo. I could design a logo almost like this, but this is also considered a logo. So this whole thing is considered a logo. That's the way I have it. So what we'll do is I always have a logo because what I do is I display it as a flex, and I justify the content space between. And what that does is it spaces everything evenly out away from each other. So it'll put the icons over here and then put the links over here. And you're gonna see when I do the display flex. Now, I could do a grid, but I usually do display flex. And if you don't know what this means, don't worry. We're just vibing right now. I'm just trying to see if I can create something. I challenge myself all the time. I have to challenge myself. If I don't, and if I take a lot of breaks, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna be forgetting things, and yeah, programming is one of those skills that you just have to maintain. It really is. So, like I said, we're trying to create a glass navigation bar. Maybe we'll add a little home area, like this right here. This is considered the home area. It's a home section, right? And when you get down, but this is considered the landing page. Everyone's gonna see when they come to the website. So maybe we'll create something like that too. But let's focus on the navigation first. Who's texting me? Why does my phone keep going off like that? Oh, that's weird. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll get an href, and we'll call this a class of, I guess, logo. And then what we'll do here is we can do um hmm I could put tax on, but let's just say Nova span, and then we can put just a dot. I don't know. That's gonna be our logo for whatever reason. I'm going Nova because Nova is like, to me, is like lightning colors or whatever. That makes sense. All right, and then what we'll do here is we need a unordered list. Okay, so we have unordered list and we have order list. Unordered list is this. Okay, and it's gonna be a class of nav links because we have to name it so we can call. So this is gonna be the parent of our links now. There's a lot of ties ins of everything, and then we'll get an ID of nav links that we're gonna use in JavaScript because we're gonna have it responsive. We're gonna have a menu like this. We're gonna have all that stuff. And we'll have a desktop version too. And then after we get in there, we can come in here and get list items, grab anchor tags, which is our links, put home, and then we can get our first one, which is going to be home. So that's our first link. And like I said, if I want this to go to Google, that's as simple as just http www.google.com, and this should now go to Google. If I wanted to open up a new tab at the top there, which I normally do, would be target underscore blank, and now I should open up another tab. So these are links that not just to go to somewhere else on your webpage on your site, but also to go to other places in the world on the site in the web. So we'll just say home for now because this is gonna be on a section of our page like this. So what we're gonna do, what I do nowadays is I use sections. Okay, and what is a section? Well, we have all these pages here, but you notice when I scroll down, this changes depending on what you're on, right? You guessed it. This is one page. And you just snap down to the different areas. People started doing this some years ago, not super long ago, because they realized that the performance is better, the load times are better, the maintenance is easier, maintenance is better, everything is more fluent. I use a behavior scroll smooth to give you that smooth feeling. If I don't use smooth, it's just gonna snap down to the section. Which if you want that, you can have that where it can just snap down. But I like to scroll. I like to use the scroll animation that scrolls down to the different parts. And I like to highlight where they're at so they know where they're at. And then the contact should be at the bottom of the page, which is not. But I'm gonna take that out because I don't know. I don't know. I'm still working on it. It's not exactly where I was hoping for, but we'll work on it some more. And then so we'll grab that. We'll grab about. So normally, see this right here is oh, you can do it like this. The way I'm doing this, breaking it down, opening this up, and putting this in here. But normally, I usually do it like this, right? That is usually how I do it. But I feel like it'd be easier for y'all to read it, which I don't know if y'all probably won't understand what it means. But that's fine. It's just interesting, right? Making things from scratch. It's fun. It's always you gotta keep your mind learning, man. And then this would be our about page. What's next? Let's do a let's do a services. Did I spell services? And then let's do a few more. Let's do projects, so I can keep you up with my projects, maybe, right? And then let's do a contact. And I'm gonna be, like I said, I might be looking at my keyboard a lot because, like, I can type fast, but one miss type of something that I don't see, and I'm gonna be searching for 2 hours trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So I'm just paying very close attention to what I'm typing because I gotta look at both constantly like this. Have to. And my keyboard is elevated, so I have to look up. I have a little pad. I'll show you. I have a little pad here, so it elevates my wrist because sometimes my wrist hurts. So let me put my keyboard back. It's not connecting. The hell? Oh. Oh, shoot. I switched it off by accident. There we go. I was about to say, what the hell happened? Wasn't working. I could do contact us or contact. So there's some links. Okay, so now what we'll do actually is what we'll do is what we could do. Trying to think. I think I have an idea. Okay, yeah, I have an idea. So you see how we have a button right here? Let's make this a different design. Let's make this almost like a button for our contact. I'm thinking. I'm trying to think. So what we could do. That ain't gonna work, is it? I'm trying to think. So what we'll do is, yeah, I have an idea. Let's just go ahead and put this in a class, and let's just call it nav button. There we go. So what we'll do is we give this a class for contact, and we can design that to whatever we want now, separately. So if we want to make this into a button, different color, We'll figure out what we're going to do with that when we start designing it. Now for the hamburger menu. I make my hamburger menus by scratch. When I say hamburger menu, I'm talking about this little the mobile menu, right? I make mine by scratch, so we need to make sure it's in the nav, so we can tag, so we can have it up there at the top. And then what we'll do is we'll say we can do a button. We could probably use a button. So let's say hamburger menu for mobile. And then what we'll do, we'll grab a button. We'll say hamburger. Hamburger. And then we'll say ARA label. Yeah, label. And this will be open navigation. And then there's one more. Shoot, I think it's ARA. What is it? Shoot, what is it? I think it's called yeah, expand false. And then we'll go in here and we'll create our spans. And there we go. So that looks good. So open navigation, and we'll put that to false. And that should be it for our navigation. And now we'll work on our section. We'll work on our little home section. I don't know what we're going to do with it. Maybe we'll have a gradient almost like this. Could use a picture. Let's say and we'll say this would be our main. And then we'll say section. And we could give it a section of different colors. So you notice how I have on my website different color here and color here, and then border effects here with different colors here, right? Could do something like that. Let me think about this. Well, what should we do? Do I want to use a color? Do I want to use a gradient color? Do I want to use a mixture of splash colors? Do I want to use whatever? Linear colors? What do I want the home? This is the most important part of a web page, is what the viewer is going to see when they launch your page. And this is the first thing they're going to see, right? What version that you're on, for my mod, how many callouts do I have, views, development updates. They're probably going to click on that because they want to know, right? And this is the most important part of the website right here, because this is what's going to keep people on your website, especially when you make it by scratch. Like I do, code it by scratch. I want to make sure everything looks good, so I give it a nice little border effect here, as you can see. And I have this. So this is a grid. I have this displayed as a grid. I could display flex, but I have a grid. So think of this as one row and 3 columns, which is what it is. And then I have a border effect, a border pixel. Oh yeah, I guess you could say a border. It's like 1 pixel splitting down each box, so it just looks clean. And I think maybe we could do a glowing effect. Maybe it's maybe instead of just doing a glass effect, maybe we could do like a glowy type effects. Like, dude, we should just try that. Let's go for it. That would be sick. Class. Let's call this hero, because fucking why not? Hero, it seems to be, is hello world usually, but now they use hero, which is fine. Or I usually put home, main home or home main section, but ID home. Now this has to match what we have up here, because this is how it allows it to snap to different sections of what we want it to be. So it has to match our section ID has to match our href name. All right. So what we can do is this is going to be. I have an idea. I have an idea. Let's. You see how I have my background here for my website? Let's try to make a glowing background, like a vibrant and glowy effect. How are we gonna do that? I don't. It's been a long time since I've done effects like this. I went to school for all this, and then they teach you what was fun about school is you got to build projects with other people, meet new friends and stuff. They'll build websites together. It's fun. But one thing I loved about my teacher or our teacher is he would not move on to a new section or to something else until he was comfortable that we all understood our assignment and what we learned. So if 10 of us raise our hand, yeah, we understood, we remember, but 3 people said they don't remember, we're going over it again. That's how he was. However long it took. And that is why I am where I'm at in today's world with programming. Even though AI is trying to take over, but what am I going to do about it? This has AI built into it. All my softwares have AI built into it now. There's nothing I can do about it. I think it's fucking... The AI is somewhere out here. Where's it at? Where's the AI at? There it is. Here's the AI. Right? It's like ChatGPT. His AI. They literally built it in. Real developers build this shit into it. And it literally would change your code and fix every bug you have. I'm not doing that, dude. That's fucking cowardly, man. I ain't never used that in my life. Like, how the fuck do you even use it? Look, I don't have no chats. Never used it before. I don't even know, like, because I would be afraid for it to change my code. What if it breaks something out and I can't revert? Like, what if I don't know what it broke? I remember back in the day when I started programming, none of my softwares I was programming has AI. I had AI absolutely at all. This has AI in it for video game development. This even has AI in it. Like, I'm not doing that, dude. I know you can take the easy way out, but I like to be proud of my work, man. I don't know. I just like to be proud of what I'm doing. I like to just, as a musician and stuff, I don't like handouts. I like to do things, and I like to make templates for people and sell them. So people come to me, like businesses, say, hey, I need a website, and then they're like, hey, can you just give me a page and I could upload to my web server, and then we could just, we'll maintain the updates for you. You don't have to maintain it. Sometimes I don't mind maintaining the updates for them and maintenance, but if they just want a template where they can upload it to their website or to like a server, like the websites that offer, they can build you websites. They can take my website that I built for them if they don't have one they like, and they can import this index that loads everything or the folder in to that website and get the and use my template that I built for them. And that's usually what they do, because they give me a design, they show me a picture or whatever, how they want what they want. And I first go to Photoshop, because Photoshop allows me to drag and drop things without having to code things. I can just drag and drop stuff, get a design, and then I have another monitor and I just kind of play with it until I get close as I can to what they want. Right now we're just vibing. It's 10 o'clock. It's Friday. We're just vibing right now. We'll play some more games. Don't worry. Probably gonna play some 7 Days. I love 7 Days to Die. I love horror games, but I love survival games. But let's start with a div. We're gonna try to do a glow effect. So almost like this, maybe, but maybe like a glowy, like resonant effect. Um, hmm. let's just say let's leave a comment. I need to start doing more comments so I know what things are doing. And let's just say this is gonna be background glow effects. Now I'm not sure how this is gonna turn out. Try it, and then we'll say this is gonna be glow 1, and then maybe we can do glow 2, and then we can do give hero content, and then the content will go in here. We could say this would be, maybe we could do a badge. So usually what I do is I go to a website called Awesome Fonts, and I can import this directly into a link on my HTML and use all their fonts built into it. I can make a navigation. I can make a navigation out of icons. This is how I get my Facebook and my Instagram icons. I can just type in Facebook. If I want to take people, if I want to put like a social media link, then I can just take the code and pull it up and give all the code anything I want to use. And I can use any of these. But do they have a badge? Oh. A share badge? These are pros. I don't have pro, so I'm not sure I can use these. Because I don't have pro. And this would be the code you use. Or so you take this link right here, add it to the top. Now I can add any me see if Facebook works. Then let's try Facebook badge. Go to awesome font. It should work. Let me try Facebook. Trying to remember how to use it. Facebook. Awesome font for HTML. I gotta look at the diagram here. There we go. I had to go to awesome fonts. Sometimes you gotta look things up. I didn't remember, so I had to get the right link. So now I should be able to add Facebook now if I wanted to. So FAFA-Facebook. There we go. There we go. There's Facebook. And I can give it style, background color, blue, color, white. And you can create stuff off that. Now if we get a badge, that one doesn't work. Probably because it's oop, symbol. I couldn't remember how to spell symbol. I don't know. That one should work, right? Let's try that one. Maybe. Yes. Hmm. That one works. I wonder if because I had to put hidden true. I wonder. We could use one for now then. That's fine. We can create our own too. Cause some's not working probably because I don't have pro. What about search? Does search work? I think the code for that is FA dash. Yeah. What about search? Yeah. What about user? Yeah. So Dakota. All right. Text someone back. Okay, so let's do. Uh, for now, you know what? For now, maybe we'll make our own by scratch. Let's just comment that out. So we're not gonna use that for now. Maybe we'll just come back to that, and maybe we'll We'll see. We'll see. What we can come up with a scratch. So we'll see. Um. Welcome to the future. Um. Then maybe we'll say div. Let's say um. We'll say build something amazing. I spell amazing. A-M amazing. Build something amazing. That's gonna be yeah. We do a paragraph. This is I'm trying to focus because this has to be what draws people to stay, right? We don't give a hell about anything else right now. What's gonna draw people's attention is what they see when they first look. So I'm trying to really think about how this should look. Also, let's put this in here as well, so that also gets same effect. And then we'll change the color on this separate for the span. Then we could do a paragraph. Mm, how do you spell that? Is that how you spell Phims? Mm, mm. How do you spell responsive? My brain's not working. Fuck. Um. Futuristic. Futuristic. Now, in programming, spaces don't matter. So you see how I dropped this down to a new line, but that doesn't change. I just did it so we can see what we're doing. If I want this to show on a new line, though, we have to tell it to show a new line. How do we do that? Well, we use a thing called line break or a BR tag, which is a self-closing tag that will show it on a new line. If I wanted to do that, which we could, but I'm kind of going for this, the home page here. So um me think. Hmm. Sometimes it's hard going on the fly because I don't know how this is gonna turn out. Okay, let's see. We see. Hmm. Okay. Let's get a div class. Let's get a button. This should be our buttons. Let's go ahead and let's say href projects. And then what we'll do is we'll get this. This would be our primary button. So we can say like primary button. This will handle our primary button. And then we can say explore. So explore. It looks like shit right now, but once I get to start styling it, it's gonna look a lot better. I'm taking my time because I don't know how this is gonna turn out. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. So this could be like explore tab. This could explore. I don't know what this is gonna do yet. Let's say explore projects instead, and then we'll say can I get fuck? Can I get a arrow? Um, we have arrows in here. Yes, but I don't want a level up. I want an arrow to the right. That could work. That could work. This could work right here too. Here we go. This is what I want. Boom. Now we can say we can say this is what I want. This is exactly what I want. But now we can have some content over here. We can make that bigger too. Like I said, we can go in here, style. Uh, I wonder if we can use font size. Yeah. We can really exaggerate it. We'll come back to that though. Mm. And then this one will be called we can probably do about class secondary button. And this can be learn more and then we can do that'll be it for that. We can just say that's gonna be it in that. What's next? What is next? Let's do div. So we use div. So div is a divider or a division. We use that for containers, for like our parents, and we can contain stuff into it, information. So we'll do stats. We can say 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus, and then we'll say p projects, and then we'll say ban. We'll leave that empty for now. Actually, I don't want that in there. Let's put that out here. Let's put that in there because I want that to be separate with that div. And then we'll start another div here. H3 10K. So this would be like our stats. Almost like how we have here. That's what I was going for there. What we'll do, we'll say we have 10,000 of that of users. Just making something random. I don't know what I'm making. I'm just trying to make something cool. And then span will be an empty spot there. We're gonna use that almost as a division like we do here, just for the fun of it. And then here we'll say H3 99 cents. We'll say it's 99 cents. Awesome. I don't know what I'm making. I don't know. And then so then what we can do is let's do a glass, let's say glass card, and we'll do is div glass or class class. We'll say this is gonna be our card. This is gonna show a card of information, like a box of information. And then we'll say the child card top will be for a top of the card. And then what we'll do is card icon. We really don't have an icon. Why not? Why not use that? That's gonna be card icon, and then let's say I'm running out of ideas. Let's say status. This would be a status, and then let's say span, and then let's say uh, let's say class. That could have the same one as that one. Next generation. No. Yeah. We'll give it H2. Beautiful interface. Don't have to be complicated. Don't have to be complicated. Progress container. The progress container is going to contain, I guess we could say class, and it could contain progress info. That's going to have the progress info where we're at. So, we could say, let's say development, and then let's say that's gonna be our bar there. So we'll say progress dash bar. So it'll be our progress bar. Almost how we have here. I'm making random stuff. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna look. The reason I don't know how it's gonna look because I know what I'm doing, but I didn't design it in Photoshop. Like I don't have a plan, so I'm just making random shit. And this looks like shit though. I'm just going with like this does not look neat at all. You can't tell what's in which. I took my time over here. You notice how you could tell what's kind of a part of which. I kind of indented these in here because I took my time with it. But right now I'm just trying to speed it up because this is the boring part. Right. That should be progress bar. Progress bar. And then we can do that in JavaScript. And then I think that might be it. I don't know if I want to add any more. Okay, so we have our logo, our links, and then to our home section we have our hamburger menu that we're going to design. Welcome to the future. Build something amazing. Paragraph, explore, where things says learn more. Our projects numbers are 10,000 users, 99 cents. Awesome. Logo online, next generation glass UI. Beautiful. So I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what I was doing with that. Well, fuck it. We'll see how it looks. I think I'm gonna do like I did here, grid. Not copy like I did here, but almost like a grid with a border, and then separate from like sense, development stage or status, and have this over here. So this is how HTML looks, like absolute fucking shit. Not gonna lie, who's texting me, bro? Fuck. Good night. Good night. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna push everything against the site because browsers have default padding and margin. And I know I'm probably playing DBD, but right now we're just vibing, bro. I'm having fun. I love coding. Now I did learn a lot of this stuff in school, obviously, but there's just so much that you forget sometimes because you don't use it much anymore. And there's a lot of stuff I don't use much anymore, but that's why I'm just trying to take my time. And I don't mind this code. It looks like shit. Normally, this is what you want to do. This is how you want your code to look. Normally, like this. If I take my time, I'm gonna show you. This is our so let's just say this is our parent, right? This is good code. I'm gonna show you. I was just in a hurry with that, but so let's say we have a div, right? That's our parent. That's our parent, right? What you want to do is you want to line those two up the best you can. Go a little bit inside, and then write your child, right? Now you can see that this is indented in this, so you can tell it's a part. That's good code. I was in a hurry. It's fine. Let's start. So let's start. Let's get rid of everything that's default. So how we do that? We get a star, and that basically says, "Hey, take away any default things the browser's giving us." So we'll do padding 0, margin 0. Pushes everything against the side. Now we have default. We don't have no styles at all. And then we'll do box sizing, border box. And now for if I go to my website that I built, it took me 6 months to build it, but we built it. You notice how it scrolls nice and smooth all the way down? Well, we can have it where it just snaps to that section, but let's just have it scroll. And how we do that is we go in here and we say HTML, scroll behavior, smooth. So that's gonna give us that smooth scroll. It's not gonna do nothing yet because we don't have any sections. And because you see we have a section, right? So let's go grab our body and let's say, hey, let's get a mid height of 100 viewport height. Let's say font family. Let's use 3 font families. So if the website can't pull this one, then we'll try to pull this one. If it can't pull this one for whatever reason, this one most likely gets supported because this one's a common one. And then color, white. And we'll probably use a gradient. And what we'll do is we'll use a percent number, and then we'll use we'll use most likely a percent number, and then we'll do a transparent, almost how we did here. We just added random splashes. So I gotta focus on this because this could get very confusing quick with the gradient. We'll just have to probably play around with it. So we'll say background. It's gonna get very complicated. And then we'll do circle at 10%. So I'm copying this a little bit, but not quite. I want it to be more glowy. So circle at 10%, 20%. Circle at 10%, 20%. So that's at 10% of 20% of that. RGB. Not sure this is gonna work. We'll try it. .2. Circle at top 20. Transparent. Okay, so it is working. I wasn't sure. 30%. And then so I want to mix that with another color. Put a comma. These numbers get very confusing, so we'll have to play around with it. And then, however bright I want it to be, I can just, or get really crazy with it. So we'll do that. We'll do. And then we'll do for this one, and I'm thinking we'll do 90%. So that's gonna be 10% from 90%. So we'll do circle at 90%, and then 80%, and then RGBA, and then we can try to do 0 for green. We can probably do blue for like 220, and then for our red, our red's green, our red's 0, our green 220, and then our blue we can try just straight blue, and then 0.13. Transparent, so we can have them both show together. 30%. And then what we'll do is we can try to do like we could try to do 0, 50, 60 C. So almost like how I have here, but I'm trying to get a glowy effect. So we can play with these numbers. That's that bottom one there, you see? We can really get extreme with it. So let's just do that. We'll work on navigation. Let's do overflow hidden, and then let's do let's do overflow X hidden instead. And then we'll do, that's it, I think, for our body. And then what we'll do is we'll grab our anchor tags, text decoration, none, and then we'll say color to be then we'll do I don't remember what I named my header. What did I name it? Did I name it header? Yeah. So the way we target, so for IDs, like we have an ID here, ID, we target that with a hashtag. We target classes with a dot. So hashtag, the name of your ID, and then for classes, dot. So we're going to target a header, and now we're going to design. So the way I program websites is I design from the top down, and then from the left to the right. So we're gonna start at the top, work our way down to the footer if I was to do a website, and then when we're doing our navigation, we'll start from the left and work our way across, get our hamburger menu and everything. So what we'll do is we'll say position is going to be fixed, right? Yeah, fixed. And then we could do top 20 pixels from the top, and then we'll do left all the way left to 0, and then we'll do a width 100% of the website, and then padding we can do 0 and 6%. It should be okay. And then Z index. So that's gonna be sitting at the top. And you notice how this is above our navigation. It's because we have Z index and that's the way we have it. We want that. Now for the fun stuff. Now we get to design the background of our navigation and all that stuff. So like I said, I work my way from the top down. So we're gonna work our way from here. We'll call this. We'll come all the way down. We'll get a width 100%, and then we'll get a max width of 1250 pixels, and then we'll do a height of 76 pixels with a margin of auto. And then now you don't see much happening yet, but you're about to. You're about to see these icons get shifted, all that fun stuff. Because we're gonna do display flex. We could do display grid, but we're gonna do flex. And we're gonna push everything over. And then align item center, and justified content space between. So now we use space between because now you notice this little thing right here is gonna be our hamburger menu. This is right here our navigation, and we have our logo right here. So it spaces everything evenly instead of having this close to our like this, like this, like this. Everything's kind of evenly. Well, I have this over to the right on purpose, but you notice that this is away from our logo, right? That's kind of what I wanted to do. And we're kind of taking the design from this, but we're making it different. So you notice the colors are different because of the percentages that I did. All right, so we'll do padding, and we'll do 0 and 28 pixels. So do it for 28 pixels for that. And then we'll do we gotta have a border, right? We have to have a border like this, you know. So 1 pixel border. So we're gonna have a border. We could do a border bottom, but I should do a regular border with 1 pixel solid RGBA, and then 255, 255, 255, and then the alpha is the only one we want to change. Because we don't want to have any color for that. We just want to change the alpha. We want to keep the color the same. Alright, and then border radius 22 pixels to kind of round out the edges. And then background. Now here's the background. We could do RGBA for that as well. We want the alpha. Yep. And then we'll do 255, so 255. And then for the blue, we can do 255, and we'll just change the alpha to like 0.055, which shouldn't be too bad. Just a little bit transparent, but not too crazy. Alright, but we might add a blur effect to it to give it that glossy feeling, which will be a backdrop. Yeah, let's add a backdrop filter, and then this is gonna be called blur. Cause we're gonna give it a like nice little blur effect, and then I'm thinking 22 pixels with the blur. Ooh, that might be too much. Now let's just go with that. And then WebKit backdrop filter blur 22 pixels. So blur 22 pixels. Okay, and we'll probably make it transparent. Okay, well I like that, but it might be too blurry. Now you notice how this is above this. That's because we have Z index 1000. So that means it can't. It's gonna be always at the front core of everything. It's never gonna be behind anything, right? And now what we could do is I like to do shadows a lot. So we could do box shadow. Box shadow. Let's do 0. Let's do 20 for the top. Let's do 60 RGBA. Let's do 0, 0, 0, 0.3. Because I don't want any values of the color to change. I just want a slight opacity of color. So we'll change the opacity. And then what we'll do is, what's next? Inset, is that it? Inset 0 to 1 pixel to 0 to RGBA. The colors. This was the hardest thing in school when I was doing websites, is remembering all the colors. Luckily, I remembered it because I just click on this little bar and I just remember the colors over time. But a lot of times, I'm not changing the value of our red, green, and blue. It's mostly just using the alpha to change the opacity of things, making this brighter. Like how this one is brighter than this one. It's because the values are different. See, the lower the number, the more brighter it is. So I put that one at 13. It kind of gives you a glowy effect, but it also kind of looks like space. I probably could put some little stars if I wanted to. So 0, 1, no. RGBA. And then we'll say 255, 255. So I want the color to stay the same. And then alpha, let's just do something very. You can kind of see shadow now. See it? Hard to see it. Kind of see it right here. It looks fine. Because I don't want it to be too bright. Let's see. What's next? We can do the logo. So we'll start with our logo. So like I said, we're still working on navigation. So we'll start with the logo. We'll make these horizontally, design these, get rid of the bullet points. And this little thing right here is going to be the marker for our hamburger menu for a mobile device. So we'll work on that next, and then we should be done with the navigation. Navigation is pretty easy, but it's the most important. Your viewers can't visit anywhere in your website without a fucking navigation, right? That looks clean. That's one of the most different animations or navigations I've done. But like I said, I'm trying to go for a glossy, glassy, ambient, glowy effect website. I'm just messing around, I'm just designing something without just top of my head. The hardest part though is doing this is getting the colors right. I'm guessing. I've done it so long that I kind of know if it's what colors to use and what alpha to use. Because the higher the number, the less intensive it is, and the lower, the more brighter it will get. As if I go to here, you can kind of see. So I want to use 0 so I can get the lowest value out of it. I don't want to do no straight numbers without using 0. So we'll use 0.13 because that's very, 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 right? And then obviously 2 is lower than this, so that was going to be more vibrant. But if I wanted to, like I said, go in here, and then if I really wanted to get crazy with it, I could. So like I said, I'm using RGBA, which is colors, but I'm really changing the alpha now. I used 105 and 71 and 255 because that gives me that purple feeling. Now I can take this little thing and maneuver it around, but I knew it was gonna be close to purple, but I didn't know if it was gonna be brighter or darker. I didn't know because I just know that 105 is around, because once you do this for so long and you learn how to mix RGBAs with different values, you're gonna be able to know, okay, obviously, if I use 255, 255, 255, you're going to get a straight color. There's no different mixes of colors in it. So, you learn it as you go. But this was the hardest subject to learn in school. Very, very tedious. Photoshop's helped me. Google helped me. Just doing it so long has helped me. Just taking this, moving it around and watching the values change and remembering it. Remembering is the key. Alright, so what's next? I guess our logo, right? What do we want to do with our logo? Our Nova logo. Now, I could add a logo like I did here for Scratch. That's not hard to do. You just get a div, you fill in the background, you make it rounded, whatever, and then you put text there. It's not hard to do. But this is also considered a logo, the text itself. So we can, I'm guessing definitely need to make it bigger. Maybe space the words out a little bit. Maybe put some lower spacings in it. So let's just say logo. Put a comment for ourselves so we know. Put some nicotine in my mouth. That's like I said, it's Friday, man. We're chilling. We're gonna be playing games all day tomorrow too. 7 Days to Die, Dead by Daylight, all kind of stuff, right? But I'm just vibing right now. I know y'all probably don't really care about this, but it's just fun to do. And it's just fun to do other things and just vibe. So what we'll do is we'll say we're not gonna do much with the logo. Let's just say I think I named it logo. Did I? Let me just double check. Yep. We're working our way down. So next, which should be our links. That should be next. Well, it's going to be next, but that's this is how that's the order I kind of do it in. So what we'll do is obviously a font size 1.6 rem. Now I use rem because more accurate for like decibel numbers. For point something. Font weight we'll do 800 because that's gonna be nice and big and bulky. And then letter spacing, I do think they're kind of close together. So 3 pixels might spread them out a little bit, and it did. I think it looks good. And then we want this to be at the top all the time, right? So let's just do a Z index of because I did 0,000 here. So let's do 1001. Make sure that's never gonna be behind anything. And then let's do dot logo span. And did I create a span? I did. A little dot. So that could be a different color. That could be like, I'm getting hungry now. But we're chilling though. I'm gonna eat a little bit later. I'm gonna be up late tonight probably. I took a nap. All right, so I put that in a span. That the dot, you know how this is outside the span and this is in the span, because cause I can call the span like I did here, the logo and the span, and I can change the span to a different color that doesn't affect the text. Because if I was to put this in here as well, then it's just ways that you can change colors up. I could also put the A if I wanted to, and do something like that by one letter. If I wanted to do something like that, that looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty cool. So we could just play around with it. That's what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing. I mean, I ain't never made a website that looks like we're in space, but it works. Now for the fun part. For the fun part, this is my favorite part. Designing the navigation links. When we eventually get into our hamburger, I love doing the navigations. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll say design the nav bars to float horizontal with display flex. So that's what it's called. We could do grid, but we're going to do display flex instead. And I like using display flex. So what we'll do is we'll say dot nav links a display inline block. Okay, and then we'll do my mind's not working. That is not what we're supposed to do. My bad. My mind's not working. There we go. And then so display flex it should be. There we go. Align item center with a gap of 8 pixels. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. That might work. Let's do 35 pixels. Let's do 40. Well, it looks. Once we get rid of the bullet points, we can be able to judge it a little more. So, let's do that right now. List styles, none. And let's bring that back down to about 30. Okay. That looks sick, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't ever done one with a blurry, glossy background that you can kind of see through it. No one's ever requested it. Businesses like this, but it looks really good. And it's gonna be responsive when you go to smaller devices. It will be responsive. Okay. Now we'll call our anchors. So now we're going to design this, give them a hover effect, all that fun stuff. This is the best part because, like I said, without our style sheet, it just looks like shit, right? If I go to my website, it just, I mean, JavaScript and CSS is not, and HTML is not. Well, yeah. Without CSS, our JavaScript and HTML is pretty bad because none of it works. Because if I try to open something, it works, but it just looks really weird, right? And it looks like shit. But the way I have my JavaScript set up, though, is I can go in here and change anything I want to change. Progress bar to whatever I want to change. Like for, I don't know. For improvement on this, I can just go and say, okay, we're at 85%. And it's going to update it automatically. Because if I go to 100%, you're going to see it change to 100%. There you go. But we'll go to 80%. So that's the way I have my variable set up, where you can just go through and change it. And usually I try to set my variables up like that, so I can just. The hardest part is getting everything set up. Once you get your first line of code set up, then you can just call your variables and then boom. So we'll say display inline block for that, and then we'll say padding. Let's say 11 pixels to 16 pixels. Let's spread them out. Let's have them fill up that gap. So we're saying 11 pixels from the sides, and then we're saying 16 pixels top and bottom. That's what we're saying. So I know what all this means. That's how I know what to add, for the numbers, because I can look at it and judge it. It's just like when I'm playing guitar. I can hear a note on guitar if it needs to go to one more fret up or another fret to get to the right note. You hear it. It's just something that you hear. Same thing in programming. You can see, okay, this is probably around 16 pixels. Once you get used to, once you do it for so long. And then we could probably do like a border radius maybe. We could probably do a border radius, font size 0.9 RAM. Because let's bring this size down just a little bit. And then we'll probably do let's make it bold a little bit. And then let's do a color of something a little bit more poppy. Is that working at all? Yeah. Didn't look like it was changing anything. And then we could do like a transition. 0.3 seconds ease. And now we can do a hover effect. What do we want this to be? There's so many things I can do. I can do a hover effect that comes from the left over. I can do all kind of stuff. But I don't know what would look appropriate for what we're trying to do. So a hover effect is like, if you see here, I have a hover effect, right? I have an underline. It's a hover effect. So another thing I can do is I can tell people that they're currently on the home page. How do we do that? If I go to my home, I can get a class in here and call it active, right? And if I go in here, active color green, and now you see we have this is the web page we're on, right? And it highlights what page that we're on, but we're not going to do that for now. What we'll do, so this is going to be complicated. Let me think about this. So nav links a hover, and then we'll say dot nav links dot nav links a dot active color. I think that's gonna be good. Background RGBA. Then we'll say, and then the alpha will be 0.08. I'm getting a nicotine high. Oh, I feel good. I feel good. Wow. Kinda. I feel like I feel nauseous a little bit, but so this looks really good. All right. What's next? What is next? What's next? I gotta remember. What's next? I'm getting nicotine high. I can't think. What's next? A hamburger menu? Nav. Now it's gonna be next. A nav button for our contact. work on this now. What we're gonna do with that? Let's say let's move that to the further to the right. And then we're gonna give it a background about this. We'll give it a bigger background for that. And it's how do I want this to be? Let's say 135 degrees. Let's say 82, 826, 7 is what I did. So it's like pink. And then we'll do 5D45 darker. Box shadow 0, 8 pixels, 30 pixels, RGBA. 105 to 76 should be like a lighter. 255 full throttle. 25. Should be it for navigation. That should be it. Let's go into what's next. A hamburger, right? Yeah, hamburger. And then we'll get to our home section. And we're designing ours from scratch. You can see the little dot right there. So the width of that would be, I think, 42 pixels. And the height would be also 42 pixels. Displayed none. It's going to be displayed none. But right now I want to be able to see what I'm doing. Justify content. Column. That should be right. Border radius. Border radius 12 pixels. So right now we're designing. I like to do these little backgrounds. These little. And then for the color we can do. And now we can design our actual spans. which don't ever want to show up sometimes. But hopefully, they do. Transform. I got nicotine high so bad. Oh shoot. Go dizzy. I'll be back.